Hey guys, Gavin from the Garden State Trappers here today, and I am filming the video about surplus that I had mentioned in the last video. You notice I'm wearing different clothes, so I didn't in fact get to it in the same day. I shot it a little bit, didn't really like the outcome of the video, decided to re-record, make sure I give you guys the best I can. Overall though, this is a bulk of the collection is mine. However, there are two rifles on this table that do not belong to me. I borrowed them from my father for the purpose of this video. There are also two rifles on this table that have not been shot. By us, at least. I want to start down over here at this end, starting with my Springfield Armory US Model 1898. This is a Model 1898, otherwise known as a Krag, or a Krag Jorgensen. This particular gun is in 3040 Krag. This one was purchased for $300 off of the shelf of a local gun store. It had some fire damage. It caused the lacquer to bubble up and the finish to peel. As you can see, there is virtually no finish left anywhere on this rifle with the exception of a little tiny bit back here, and that may even only be on my side. This rifle needs some work. It is in the process of being worked on right now. If you can see up here at the fore end, it's all bubbled and very, very dark brown or black. This is what the stock will look like after I do the rest of the work on it. It is sanded and refinished. It also includes original arsenal marks on the back. This one in particular has a ladder sight. Most of them do, however, there is a select few that were made in the very early parts where they do not have any type of adjustable sight aperture on them. If you'll excuse me. This particular gun is also missing a very important feature. One of the reasons I have not shot it is this firearm does not have its safety. This one, like I said, $300 needed work. Everything else is fully functional, and I had a gunsmith check it out. It is, in fact, safe to shoot. It doesn't have a safety that conflicts with my gun club's rules, so I don't bring it there out of, out of consideration for the rules, and no one wants to be that guy. Another reason I have not shot this rifle is because this rifle is chambered in 3040 Krag, and that is about $4 a round. Not that I couldn't muster up the $80 to buy a box, but could I bring myself to spend the $80 on 20 rounds of a obsolete ribbed cartridge that is only in production by two companies at the moment right now, in current production, I should say. However, I will note the 3040 Krag is a very capable rifle. It's an excellent hunting caliber from what I understand. It was very popular. It was very common to have these guys sporterized and hunt deer with them. That is not what I will be doing with this. This is more of a wall hanger, a piece of U.S. history that I like to call mine. But it can be done. It has been done and will continue to be done for many more years, I'm sure. But that's pretty much it on this guy. This guy's, like I said, just a cool piece of history. Really the only reason I have it. And also, killer deal. I mean, $300. I've seen them in worse condition on Gunbroker for upwards of $1,000. So I really couldn't say no. Just like I said, really cool piece of history to have. And when this guy is done, and I can stomach $80 for a box of ammunition, I'm definitely going to be taking this guy to the range, and I'll be bringing you guys along with me. Just in case it blows up, and which I'd like to have that on video because I think it might be rather funny if I survive. Right, and on to the next gun here, we have a Lee Enfield. This is a number 4 Mark III conversion. This is originally a long branch rifle that made its way down to India at some point in its life, where the Mark III conversion was made. The original production date on this guy is 1943. It was redone in 1948. It's an excellent rifle, very smooth shooting, great bolt. For anyone who owns a Lee Enfield, you know that. 303 British is a powerhouse of a round, not too hard on the shoulders. Overall, just a wonderful gun, great piece of history. I am trying to put together a collection of World War II era firearms from the Allied and Axis side. You'll see some of that in here. But this is just a cool piece of history. Definitely needs some work. Stock's not in great shape. Not a whole lot of finish left on the receiver, but all things that can be fixed. When you're working with a budget, you got to be prepared to do some work. This is one you guys have seen. I won't spend too much time on it for that reason. This is my Spanish Mauser converted to 7.62 by 51 NATO. Great piece of Cold War history, awesome gun. Like I mentioned before, it can be had at Hunter's Lodge for about $220. You throw them an extra $20, they'll hand pick one for you. I'm not sure if that'll really do much. I did personally purchase this one from a gun store, but I do happen to know the gentleman who had it before me did get it from Hunter's Lodge. And even though they have a reputation of mailing out some less than quality items, I would say this particular rifle is in great condition for what it is. It does have some Phoenix, some weird stuff it does, but nothing unsafe, nothing that makes this rifle, not fun to shoot. Just like I said in the last video, one thing you have to keep in mind, do not shoot high pressure modern 308 ammo. There's some debate whether or not 7.62 by 51 and 308 are the same. From my personal findings, I have found that they are not. There is a pressure difference, even though they're the same diameter in case and bullet. There is a large pressure difference because of the powder charge, which this chamber was barely capable of 7.62 by 51 NATO, so I really wouldn't push it too much further than that. Okay, we're going to go on to another one of my service rifles, one that I'm sure many of you saw on the table here. This is my M1 Garand, or Garand, should you be inclined to say it that way and be wrong. But this particular rifle here I got on a really good deal. I paid about $800 for it. I know that's crazy to say that's a really good deal, but these things aren't really going for anything under $1,000 right now. Mechanically and parts-wise, this rifle's in great shape. Does need some refinishing, rebluing. Totally doable. Totally doable with some time. It also does need, as you guys can see, it's a kind of crappy hardwood stock someone put on here. That's because this rifle was one of the ones we loaned to Greece. And when it came back, the stock was shredded, and this is what was put on in place of that. I do have a brand new stock. I do need to continue finishing it and sand it down, and I want to stain it. But after that, she'll be great condition. She'll be definitely a pretty picture. But as of right now, this is my Garand 30-06. Doesn't fail. Never had a malfunction with this particular Garand. I have had malfunctions with Garands in the past, though. But this one, I mean, it's like a train. You put your right ammo in there. You put the 30-06. I usually shoot about 150 grain. PPU makes that kind of ammo specifically for the Garand, because some modern 30-06 in higher grains is a little bit dangerous if you don't have the adjustable gas block, which I do, but I don't actually know how it works. So I'd prefer not to monkey with it and end up hurting my rifle, or worse, myself or someone around me. But like I said, great gun. I recommend every collector who can afford one goes out and gets one of these. Awesome piece of history. And the unfortunate reality of this type of thing is there is only going to be less and less of these around. Granddad passes away, and you don't like, your aunt doesn't like guns, your mom doesn't like guns. They give it to a buyback. When the police buy these things back, they don't keep them, they don't sell them to gun stores, they destroy them. So get them while you can, because one day they're going to be very, 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 very hard to find and extremely expensive, even in conditions like this. Not trying to fear monger or anything, but just, when these types of old rifles end up in the wrong hands, they often get destroyed, which is really unfortunate. So now we're going to move on to my father's firearms here. This is a Steyr M95. This is a rifle that can be commonly had fairly cheap today. It is a straight pull, which I find extremely interesting, always have since I was a little kid. This one was ordered for my father by his father from Shotgun News in the 80s. This particular one's in pretty good shape. There is some patches in the stock, some denting and stuff. Something interesting about this rifle, though, is neither me nor my father have ever shot it because we don't know what caliber it is. These were made in 8x50 rimmed and 8x56 rimmed. Um, we don't know which one this is because it's not stamped on the receiver. We'd have to get the barrel slugged, and unfortunately, it's something neither of us have really gotten around to. On top of that, as well, the ammo is not super easy to find, and when you can find it, it's not very cheap. But it's a cool piece of history. It's a great gun. People who shoot them love them. I would love to shoot this thing. My only issue being I don't know what bullets to put in it. If you guys know anything about that, or if there's anyone who has a vast wealth of knowledge for these type of rifles, if you would leave a comment and let me know, I'd appreciate it. Because I really would love to shoot this rifle, but I just want to make sure if I do so safely. From the top. This is another one of my father's rifles. This is his Russian Mosin Nagant. As you guys can see, this is the hexagonal receiver with a finished capture mark on it. Something that is odd about this one in particular is that you do not see they call it a pistol grip stock. That doesn't literally mean there's a protruding pistol grip, but it's got more of a rounded something similar to this M95 rather than having the straight stock. Excuse that, I just almost knocked over one of my mother's plants. This rifle, dime a dozen back in the day. Right now, they want $600 a piece for one. Not particularly a price I'd be comfortable paying, which is why I'm grateful we have this one for me to use. I will say though, workhorse, good rifle, accurate rifle. This rifle has eaten factory loads, hand loads, surplus ammunition, all sorts of stuff. Never really a problem. And it's overall not in terrible shape. From my understanding of things, this was purchased as a fixer-upper out of a Shotgun News catalog by my father, or my grandfather, I should say, some years ago, and gifted to my father when my grandfather no longer had interest in firearms collecting. But this, you don't want to upset anybody because, people love these things. Some weird stuff, I would say. These guns are clear, by the way. There's no ammunition anywhere near the area. Some weird play in the trigger there. That's very common on surplus rifles. Unfortunately, military grade just means the cheapest bidder. Some of them do have excellent triggers. I have a Swedish Mauser, wonderful trigger on that. The Krag, nice trigger. The Enfield also has that same trigger play, so I can't be too harsh on the Mosin because of it. But overall, this gun was mass produced. There's millions and millions of these things. And that's just the Russian ones. There's ones made by different countries, specifically like China with the Type 53, which is an M9130 clone, I believe, the cavalry one. When you pump out so many of something, you're going to have some control issues, and one of the few things I believe saved this is that it was refinished and rebarreled by the Finns. And it does make it a higher caliber of Mosin. It does make it a little more valuable, a little more rare. But other than that, I mean, it's just a Mosin. Does its job. It's accurate. It shoots 7.62 by 54R. Great cartridge, very capable. It's kind of just your typical Mosin, though. It's nothing really particularly special. These things are, well, I should say these things were a great way to get into surplus. The ammo was cheap. The rifle was cheap. Now the ammo is not so cheap, and the rifle is about 3 times what it's actually worth. And this is something that, if you have one, hold on to it for sure. But if you don't have one, I wouldn't go running out to grab one. They're really nothing special. A lot of people have special connections to these things because they bought this as their first surplus rifle. And I just don't have that. Would I sell this one? No, mostly because it's not mine, it's my father's, but also if it were to be mine, it's a cool piece of history. It's, finished capture. It's something my dad put a lot of work into, and I personally would keep it almost based on sentimental value. So, that's just some of the surplus rifles I have. And they're all great. They all are different in their own ways. They all have different purposes. One thing to remember, especially in an aging market, surplus is getting harder to find. There's less and less of them. They're being brought to buybacks by clueless people, and they're being destroyed in exchange for a $50 gift card. Um, when you have rifles like these, you kind of want to hold on to them, because they're very limited in supply. So we got a couple of some of my rifles out here, and just going over them all and talking about them a little bit. But overall, rifles like this, they're getting harder and harder to find. They're being brought to buybacks and destroyed for a $50 gift card. Please excuse the dog. She's just a little antsy. Hold on to them if you can. Some people sell them. You get some hard times. You need a couple extra bucks. You got to do what you got to do. But I really would encourage, if you can hold on to firearms like these, 100% do. Three firearms on this table are, they're already over 100 years old, pushing 130 years old. They're wonderful guns. They fire flawlessly most of the time. Of course, with the exception of these two, I don't know. I've never shot them, but and it's just a piece of history. It's not that it's physically living, but it's a piece of history you're holding in your hands. Something like this Krag here was military issue. And I don't know its story. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to start making things up. But this, was probably issued to someone at some point in time, and it's now in my hands here 100 years later. And that's something really interesting to think about. And I find it very fascinating that 100 years ago, someone who took the oath to serve our country carried this rifle, and now it's in my hands. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to, like I said, talk about some surplus and see if I can get you guys' thoughts on it. Are you guys into surplus collecting? Do you guys have any surplus of your own? I'd love to hear from you guys. If I missed anything or if I was wrong about anything, 100% hit that comment section and let me know. Because the thing about me is I try to sound confident in what I'm saying, but if I'm wrong, and I love to learn. This way, I can refrain from making the mistake in the future. So with that being said, this is Gavin from the Garden State Trappers. We're going to sign off here today. So you guys have a great day, stay safe, and God bless.